Namaskar. So we'll continue with the topic which we started in the last lecture about Tithi Pravesha. We learned that Tithi Pravesha is the actual birthday for us. When the sun comes into the same sign as at the time of our birth, and the Tithi is also the same as the sign of as at the time of our birth, right? That is defining our birthday, right? And it's a very important chart, and we almost read it like a birth chart to determine the events for the coming year. Tithi Pravesha is governing 1 year for us till the next Tithi Pravesha comes along. Okay, so this period we actually read it like this: the Tithi Pravesha of Mahatma Gandhi for the year 1892. This is actually read like a birth chart for many things and to determine and predict things which will happen in the course of the year. Okay, uh, now in case of Gandhi, he was born when sun was in the sign of Virgo, and the tithi was Krishna Ekadashi tithi. Okay, so whenever again and again the sun will come to Virgo and this tithi comes, Krishna Ekadashi tithi comes, that's when his birthday will come. Now, one small exception I'll just say, sometimes you may find a tithi occurring twice in a month. At times what happens is as soon as the month had started, the tithi occurs, and then the tithi can again occur within the course of that same month. At the beginning, at the fag end, it is possible if that happens. Now, in such case, which should we consider as a tithi pravesha? We should consider always the later one as the tithi pravesha. Okay, so if you have to do your Rudrabhishek and all, it is to be done at the later one. That's an important exception which you have to remember. Now, uh, when Gandhi was born at that time, this was the other panchanga like this. The vara was Shanivara, Saturday, nakshatra was Ashlesha, Karana Balava, Karana governed by moon, yoga was Sadhya Yoga governed by Venus, and so on and so forth. Right? All these other things can change from one Tithi Pravesha to the other Tithi Pravesha. But what would remain constant is that it would be Ekadashi Tithi in all the Tithi Praveshas. In fact, the exact point of 6.87% left will be considered as the exact time of the Tithi Pravesha. So hence we would know this is the Lagna of the Lagna degree of the Tithi Pravesha and so on and so forth. Okay. Now here it is Ashlesha as a nakshatra. Now basis this we can read something. Okay. What happens is typically in the future other Tithi Praveshas the nakshatra can at times remain same, that is Ashlesha, or it can go one nakshatra forward, which is Magha, or it can go one nakshatra behind, which is Pushya. Okay, and basis this itself we can understand something broader about the particular year. Now, what do we have? We have three parts here. We have Ashlesha itself, right? So if it was Ashlesha, it is like Janma. In Avatara we have Janma, Sampat, Vipat, Kshema, Pratyari, and so on and so forth. We have the nine avatars, and again after nine nakshatras over, we again have Janma, right? So it is like a Janma, which if Ashlesha were to come in a Tithi Pravesha for Gandhiji, it is like a Janma. It is like again something new beginning coming in, which Janma is beginning. Okay, now if it is the same, right, that is one option. The other one is if it is ahead or if it is behind. So we have three options, right? Now whenever we have these numbers coming, we got to relate, okay, to other similar concepts. Like I've said in one of my previous lectures, where I think five, the number five came in. Like in the case of Panchanga, we have five angas. So then the other thing which is also five, very important thing, is Pancha Tattva, right? Five tattvas. So there must be some link between the Panchanga and Panchatattva, right? Now here we have three coming in. The nakshatra can be the same or the one next or the one before. So what else is three? What are the important factor is three, right? Now we have the three murtis: Brahma, Vishnu, and Rudra. Brahma, Vishnu, and Mahesh. Right? These are the three murtis. Okay. So it means that yes, this thing of The nakshatra falling the same or the one before, one later is somewhat like the Trimurtis. Janma is like Brahma. Okay? Because Brahma is the Srishtikarta. We are in the world which is created by Brahma. Brahma created the Prajapatis, the Saptarishis, and the Prajapatis, Saptarishis created us. Okay? So, whenever Brahma comes in, whenever it is the same nakshatra, it is like a kind of something new is getting created. Right? Srishti is happening. Something is getting created. Something is getting built. Something new is happening. Some new beginning is happening. That's the things which you can think about. When it is falling in the next nakshatra, second, normally in the Bhava Chakra, second house is about eating, second house is about resources, second house is about sustenance. So it is like Vishnu. Vishnu is the Sthiti Karaka. So whatever something has got already created, now it has to be maintained, it has to be taken care of, it has to be sustained so that it can go ahead. And the one before is like Rudra. So something is ending. So it has to be got away with. And that's a painful process. It has to be moved away so that something new can come in its place. Okay. Now, in the case of Gandhiji, if we were to take the Tithi Pravesha of the year 1892, as you can see, it is Sun again in the sign of Virgo, Kanya Rashi, and Krishna Ekadashi Tithi with 6.87% remaining. Lagna is Gemini Lagna over here. Now, here the nakshatra is Pushya Nakshatra. Pushya is the one behind. So it is like Rudra. So it is going to be a bit painful because something old has to be sort of killed or moved aside. Okay, and something new can be created. Right? This year 1892, right, in this Tithi Pravesha year, that is between 1892 to the next Tithi Pravesha, which will occur in September or October of 1893. In this period is what this aspect happened, which is about something old getting finished and something new happening. So what happened? In April 1893, that is in this year itself of Tithi Pravesha, is when he moved to South Africa for the first time. Right? He went to fight some case for some particular businessman, and then he went on to stay there. I mean, it was not his intention. His intention was just to go there and then come back to India, whatever. But he ended up staying there for 21 years before he came back to India. So from 1893 to 1914, he was in South Africa. Right? He went over there, and then he, looking at the conditions of Indians over there, the discrimination they were facing, he decided that he is going to fight for them. Right? And that's when he became what we know as Gandhi today over there in South Africa. Okay. So what was happening here is something old was getting finished. His Indian thing this made a big change. When it is written in his biography, and I believe it's an autobiography as well, that even till now, when he went over there, he was like a British. He didn't think of himself as an Indian. He was Western educated. He had studied law. He had gone to London and he had done his higher studies over there. So, and he used to dress in a Western dress, speak proper English, right? He considered himself as a British. He never felt that he was an Indian, even while he was in London. The first time he felt that, no, I am a brown Indian who is discriminated against, is when he went to South Africa. And that was a big change. It is like casting off the old British identity and taking on this new thing. Okay, I am an Indian now and I got to do something for my people, right? That happened. So that is this, and that's a very painful process, right? You know what happened? He was thrown out of a train. First time he felt discriminated against just because he was of brown skin, and only white Europeans can be in the first class of a train. And that's when he decided he's going to fight on. Okay. Then a few years down the line, one important event which happened was, um, in the state, I believe Transvaal, where he was there, they decided to register every Indians and Chinese origin people, and this was met with a lot of resistance because it was considered to be very demeaning, okay, to the people over there. And Gandhiji, he led the protest. So this happened in September 2006. But that will September 2000. It was on September 11th, 2006. Sorry, 1906. My mistake is not 2006. 1906. So that still comes under the Tithi Pravesha of the previous year, which started on 25/9/1905. Okay, and here you can see it is Ashlesha. Okay, Ashlesha is the same nakshatra as the time of the birth, so it is like a new beginning. So this is, so he had been a kind of a protester and a civil rights activist and whatnot for 10 12 years, but in 1905 when he spearheaded this movement and united all the people, and because of this protest was when he went to the jail for the very first time a couple of years down the line. um, so this was like a new beginning, something new he created. And in fact, the this was the first time he thought about this thing called satyagraha. The word satyagraha was coined, I think, a year or two later, but the kind of resistance that they did, uh, non-violent but still active resistance, right, that is what they called a satyagraha eventually. Okay, so it was like a new beginning, and we know today, I mean, Gandhiji and Satyagraha is a synonymous thing, sort of, right? Then we have the Tithi Pravesha of 1907. This was when he had gone to jail for the first time. I mean, 3 months down the line, in January of 1908, was when he went to jail for the first time. Okay, so but he was soon released. It was not a long sentence as such, but it brought him great fame, and it was, this was again like a new beginning, because he fought for his people, and he succeeded in that struggle. Okay, Lagna Lord is in third house, exalted, so definitely a lot of struggle, and but there is definitely victory. You have fifth Lord Jupiter exalted, strong Gajekesari in the ninth, also bringing a lot of fame and name. So while it was tough, he got arrested, but a lot of good came out of that. Then we have, what is this? This is 1914. This was when he had, I think, early 1915 was when he moved to India, and this is Magha. This is the second nakshatra from Ashlesha. It's like sustenance. So he was brought to India. He was invited to India because of what he was doing in South Africa, right? So he had already become famous because of that. So the idea is to come and rejuvenate and bring the same idea. So it was like, okay, continuing the same thing, okay, in India. But then couple of years down the line, that is in 1916, 1917 was when he did his first major protest, or a movement in India, that is the Champaran movement in Bihar. Okay, and where he fought for the rights of the farmers and the downtrodden people. They were subject to very heavy taxation, persecution by the Britishers and the zamindars. Okay, so that is when he fought for them, and he refined his form of struggle to much higher. And in fact, this is when I think, see, even then he was wearing few things. He was wearing a proper dress, a shirt and a dhoti and all that. And I think it is after this that he completely went cast off that and started wearing only that hand spun dhoti, and this is when he was the first time he was started to call Mahatma or Bapu. So it was something new which again came in. See, him coming to India was still continuing the same thing, but 2 3 years down the line, when this was his first movement, which brought him a lot of followers in India and rejuvenated the movement in a big way. And soon after this, the civil disobedience movement came in 1920 22, around that time. Okay, and then the last one which I wanted to show to you was this one. This is 1946. Interesting, because this is the Pravesha in which India won its independence, that is in 1947. But you can see the nakshatra is Pushya. It is it is instructive in many ways. We are talking of something old getting left. The Britishers left India. That's something old. But a lot of things happened. The partition happened, right? And Hindus and Muslims were living for together for a long period of time, and this partition happened, and they went off to a different country. Very painful process. Lot of lives were lost. Lot of bloodshed happened, and for Gandhi personally, it was very. This was a fag end of his life. In another year, he would actually lose his life. Okay, and he was finding things going out of control for him. When India won its independence, Gandhiji was actually in Calcutta because he was on a fasting so that the protests, the rioting in Calcutta will stop. Okay, I think it was Noakhali was the place, I believe. So, and his people, say Nehru and Patel and all that, were increasingly not exactly following his line. Okay, so this was in a way an end of his era as well, 1946, because 1948 January was when he was assassinated, right? So this is instructive because a lot of things are ending over here. I just focus on the nakshatra, but obviously you can read entire thing, entire panchang over here, and whole lot of things can be read over there. Okay, the Lagna Lord here, Saturn is in seventh house, opposite its own sign, so it is like leaving home. So this was in a way like, and hence it is weak. Okay, so it is like leaving something. Yeah. So I hope this was instructive, and looking forward to more such interactions. Thank you very much.